beach access over there, and good.
Excuse me?
Yes.
The flat formations down there in the surf
Yes.
that look like they've been lifted up,
Yeah.
was that volcanic originally?
Some is volcanic, that's sedimentary.
Okay.
Now, what happens is when you drove here today on the PV Drive, that's called the 120,000 year terrace, because that was a wave-cut beach terrace 120,000 years ago. There's a series of terraces, and you can see them when you look at a side view, and each terrace is actually dated and named, and we have some kind of date. And so when the road you took here today was the 120,000 year terrace. And this is a terrace too, but I'm going to show you what more of it about a quarter of a mile up. So what are we standing on? Everybody look down and tell me what we're standing on. Exactly, she's the first to see it. We're standing on shells, and she found a shell. There are literally thousands and thousands of shells throughout this area, even down where they are. It's all along here. And most of them are these tiny little shells. These are real common. They call them bean clams. Bean clams, their genus is Donax, D-O-N-A-X. And there's just thousands of these little shells. Now last week when we were here, last month when we were here, over at White Point, we found more of the clam shells, these larger clam shells only. So that means it's a midden. It's a Native American site where they actually gather the clams in their baskets, take it up on top, clean out the meat, and discard the shell. But when you find all these tiny little bean clams, a Native American wouldn't eat these. They're just way too small to eat. Especially when you consider when they were here, the rocks were just filled with abalone, just filled with abalone. So this is not a midden, this is a beach. This is, when we said the road we came in here on was 120,000 year terrace, well this might be about 30 or 40,000 year old terrace. So these are 30 and 40,000 year old clams. Now what happened 30 or 40,000 years ago? You're looking at La Brea tar pits. So we had saber-toothed cats roaming around. 30, 40,000 years ago you still had Neanderthal, just about to become extinct. So this is an old beach, and it'll run for about a quarter of a mile. And so we're going to keep walking on all these shells, and if we find something different, we'll pick it up and talk about it. This one is actually called, and this is part of that beach that we've been looking at. We've been walking on it for a few minutes. It goes on for about a quarter of a mile, and I actually think when they put in the path, they probably scraped this for the path, and that's when they uncovered the beach. This is actually called a rock scallop. It's called a purple-hinged picton, P-E-C-T-E-N, picton. Picton actually means to comb. So I don't know if a scallop, because of its irregular tips, they actually maybe cut into it to make it into a comb or what, but it's called a purple hinged comb. But it has a very distinctive look. It has kind of a clam shell here and then a more irregular clam here, very uncommon. I mean, it's very, once you see one, you start looking for them. It's called purple hinged, and let's see if a 30 or 40,000 year old has a purple hinge. There it is. See the purple hinge? See it? And it still has a purple hinge even though it's 30 or 40,000 years old. Kind of weird, huh? You might want to pass it around. It isn't an unusual shell. Purple hinge. Okay, wait. You see these? What's that look like if it was bigger? Like a sunflower seed, huh? So this is a sunflower seed, and these actually look like miniature sunflower seeds that you eat. You see that? They look like sunflower seeds, and they are they look like just a tiny version of a sunflower seed. I don't think they're edible, but there's no taste to them. Okay, as you know, we are a volunteer organization and we live from contributions. We have some funding from propositions that are put on the ballot and some large contributors, but generally we would like membership, and with membership, as I am a member, we like getting as much membership as we can, and we are volunteers, so we do picking and weeding and planting and trail maintenance. So if you can become a member, and you could spend some time weeding and picking and all that stuff on our website, Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy. If you just Google PVPLC, if you Google PVPLC, it'll tell you how to become a member and how to volunteer. I am a volunteer. I don't get paid for this, and I'm also a paying member because I kind of believe in what the Ehlers began 20 years ago, to keep open space, to reintroduce native plants, to reintroduce native insects and butterflies, and have walks like this. So because of the Ehlers and because I believe in what we're doing, I am a paying member and I do volunteer, and I'd encourage you to do it also. There's a whale right there.
Oh, the whale.
Yeah, it just breached. You see there's a whale right there. It's going to come up again. It just came up and went down. Look straight out about. He'll be back.